Hey, hey, everybody, let's have some fun. You only live but once, but when you're dead, you're done. So let the good times roll. Let the good times roll.
Hello everyone, how's it going? My name is Taylor and welcome to TripleADigest. So following on from last week's coverage of the pre-build of Mafia the Definitive Edition, we still have a few more videos to fill out the next 4 weeks and answer some lingering questions people seem to be asking. So continuing on with the series, here are 11 details for the Mafia remake. Number 1, death scenes. Now something we haven't mentioned yet, the game has some death scenes made specifically for certain missions if Tommy fails the mission. So if you fail the current objective, for example protect the supply truck from oncoming fire from a ridiculously powerful machine gun, it'll play a death cutscene that has been specifically made for that gameplay sequence. So basically various missions and scenarios will trigger a different cutscene that's relevant to that moment in the game. So do prepare to see some of your favourite characters die horribly before it transitions to a reload checkpoint or chapter restart scene, which is a nice addition, and they further highlight that you're a failure with a death scene involving some of your favourite characters. Thanks for those, Hangar 13, real nice of you. Number 2, character commentary. So characters make comments on the player's actions occasionally. If Tommy crashes his car, he takes too long on a mission, gets out of his car, then Polly, Sam or whoever is in the player's vehicle will comment on it. Some of these lines are repetitive and you'll hear them throughout your playtime with the game like Mafia 2. Yet some seem to be exclusive to specific missions too. If you crash the junker Ralph gives you during the mission Molotov Party, Polly will say this.
You don't have to go look. Hey, it's their cars we're wrecking today, not this junker.
I crashed repeatedly throughout other missions to see if Polly repeated that line and he never seemed to do so. There are other examples too, but we'll leave them for you guys to experience for yourselves. Number 3, weapon wheel. So in the Mafia remake, Tommy has a weapon wheel. Similar to many modern shooters, it showcases 2 weapons Tommy has for that mission on the top left and top right panels, plus 2 equipment slots on the bottom left and bottom right panels for grenades and molotovs. Your current melee weapon is shown in the top middle and the holster weapon button is shown in the bottom middle. Something worth noting because we see many questions about this, the player can still carry 2 guns like we mentioned in a previous video, one being a pistol like a service revolver, Magnum, Colt 1911 etc, and one big weapon, for example a Tommy gun or pump action shotgun. Number 4, SONNY Marinelli. So the actor who played Henry Tomasino, SONNY Marinelli, will most likely be in Mafia the Definitive Edition in some form, as he was recently seen in an Instagram post uploaded by the actor who plays Polly in the remake, Jeremy Luke. The picture showed a selfie of the actors who play Polly, Don Salieri and Henry. It was titled Hanging with My Mafia Family, coming out September 25th with the hashtags of the characters' names and hashtag Mafia Definitive Edition and hashtag Mafia 2. Now SONNY Marinelli is best known in the series for playing Henry in Mafia 2, yet he also played small parts in Mafia 3 with additional voices for that game, so that would make the most sense for the Mafia remake that he's simply playing some smaller roles in the game, so we shouldn't get too excited. Although Henry was active during the 1930s, he was born in 1911 and would be in his early 20s during the 1930s timeline. Very little is known about Henry's early life, so it would be a nice opportunity to fill it out to some extent. Even if it's just a cigarette card, we'll take anything. Number 5, PC specs. Now this point is just for the PC Master Race veterans. The PC specs so you can be somewhat prepared for the game on September 25th if you're getting it. These are the minimum requirements they asked us to have for the preview build. We've got the usual operating system of Windows 10 64-bit, the CPU is the i5 2500K, the AMD CPU is the AMD FX 8120, it's 6GB of RAM, the AMD GPU is the Radeon R9 280X, and the Nvidia GPU is the G4 GTX 770 with a video memory of 2GB. The hard drive free space that you need is 50GB. Then the recommended PC requirements are again Windows 10 64-bit, an Intel i7 3770 or the AMD FX 8350 with 4GHz, 16GB of RAM, the AMD GPU is the Radeon RX 5700, the Nvidia GPU is the GeForce GTX 1080 and a video memory of 4GB, again with a 50GB free space. Also a brief mention for PC players, if you have an RGB colour keyboard connected to your PC while you play the game, the colours will actually change to flashing blue and red when you're in a chase with the police. When you lose them it changes back to your default colour setting. Number 6, Xbox One controls. So the Xbox controls are basically the same as they are for other third-person shooters, with PlayStation controls being the equivalent button on their controller. On foot the triggers aim and shoot while the right bumper throws the grenade, and left bumper is the weapon wheel we mentioned. A is to use cover, X interacts if you hold it down and is used to reload in combat if you tap it, and Y is to climb obstacles or ladders. The left stick is obviously to move, but you click it in while moving to sprint rather than spamming A. Also while aiming you can click it to switch shoulders for an easier shot. If you click the right stick in, it enters stealth or your sniper scope while aiming. Up on the D-pad holsters your weapon, and down on the D-pad picks up bodies / drops them. When you're driving, A is your ram button, yay, and X you hold it to enter or exit the car, or you tap X to change gears while driving if you have manual transmission mode activated. The left bumper shoots your weapon in a car and right bumper throws a grenade, and you tap the view button or select to put on the speed limiter. While driving, right on the D-pad changes the radio station and you hold it to turn it off. Down is used to skip drive. If you have that option on in the settings, it will skip you to the mission point if you press down. Number 7, small details. So in terms of other tiny details to touch on, some characters will tell you to turn the radio off or change the channel if they don't like the music. If you keep it playing or change the channel like they asked, they will react accordingly. The game features historical realism, such as the number of stars on the American flag at the time that you will see hanging around in some places of Lost Heaven. You can no longer get in the passenger seat of your car and awkwardly sit there wondering why your car won't move, you just automatically move to the driver's seat. Another small detail, radio hosts can discuss accidents that have taken place in Lost Heaven during some chapters. If you go to the location mentioned, you'll witness a banged up car, emergency services in the area with flashing lights, and see that the road where the accident took place is blocked off. Number 8, bodies. So with the addition of stealth into Mafia Remake comes the extra thought of where your enemies' bodies are. Tommy can now pick up a body after he has killed them in order to hide it from enemies patrolling the area during a stealth mission. They can also be used to distract enemies if Tommy wants to take a certain path. So another small addition from Mafia 3 that has been brought over, one of the many. Number 9, the mystery fox. So as I mentioned before, this game has a pretty large selection of collectibles. While playing the game, you will stumble upon what are called mystery foxes. These are a series of 50 collectibles found across Lost Heaven that can be near mission locations. Finding one will unlock the mystery fox discovered achievement, and they're adorable. There's one in Ralph's little office in the garage. The game will also give you a little clue to their location when you're nearby one. Number 10, mission warnings. So in terms of free roam during the story mode does allow for a form of free roam between certain missions, although some have more restriction than others. For example, if you choose to explore during Running Man, in which Tommy's objective is to drive passengers around the city, leaving your car in between those taxi fares and walking too far from Tommy's car, the game will warn the player that a failure is about to trigger if you don't return to his taxi. At Clark's Motel, once you arrive at that location, you cannot leave until completing the objective or you'll fail the mission. So for new players, during the story mode, do choose your moments to free roam wisely, and the game is pretty clear with when you can do so, although free ride is available after completing the first chapter. Number 11, so one of the many questions we have seen you guys ask quite a lot. Bluntly put, there will be no demo for this game. Sadly, that isn't a thing. We asked our source with 2K and they stated there was no plans to do that. But that's the end of the video. As always, we have a question. What has been the best change of a character from the original to the remake? And what's the worst change in your opinion? Let us know. That's it from us. Don't forget to follow us on Twitch, where we'll be streaming the game at launch, and follow us on Twitter, where Martin will be tweeting daily screenshots and random jokes from the game as we build towards launch. Mafia Definitive Edition releases September 25th on Xbox One, PS4 and PC. For more content like this, subscribe if you want. Bye bye.